Hey y'all, welcome to today's first asynchronous video. In this video, we're going over a problem from yesterday's independent practice. This one is a little bit more complex because we have a bigger graph than we have been normally looking at in our general problems. So for this problem, as always, we're going to start by reading it through once and then going back, identifying any key points, any key values, and then we're going to try and figure out what do we need to pull out, what kind of information is necessary in order to solve this type of problem. So again, let's start here. A team of explorers start 8 feet below ground in a cave. They walk at a constant rate up 3 feet every minute. We're asked to create an equation and then graph the situation. So again, right now we're trying to look for information to help me create an equation that's going to help us graph this situation. So again, reading through one more time. Explorers start. This is a keyword start because this tells me a little bit more information about that 8 there. Remember, our starting values in our equation, usually going to be calling that b, or our y-intercepts. So it tells me that I start at 8 feet below ground. Oh, so this is another piece of information that's going to be really helpful for us. Let's think about this kind of critically. I have an x-axis and I have a y-axis. In a case like this, where I'm talking about things that are above ground and below ground, my x-axis is going to act like my ground level. So this is my ground level. So if it's above ground level, it's going to be a positive y value. If it is below ground level, that's where we get some negative y values. So right now, what this tells me is that we start 8 feet below ground. So I'm going to come over here to my graph. Again, starting at my origin point, I'm going to count down 8 feet and place a dot right on my y-axis. So right now, I know that these explorers are starting at the point 0, comma, negative 8. And in my equation, b is going to be equivalent to negative 8. Let's keep reading, see what other information we can pull out. They walk at a constant rate. Again, keyword rate, up 3 feet every minute. Again, I'm going to do a little squiggle for this word every because that's one of our ratio words. Again, when we are looking for ratios, looking for rates, that should be a big tip off. This is likely going to be our slope. So I can start by putting a 3 there. Now I got to, again, use context clues around to decide if this is going to be a positive 3 or a negative 3. That's where this up is going to come into play. What up tells me is that when I start here, I'm moving up, trying to get above ground. So it's going to be a positive 3 as my slope. So if I wanted to graph that out as an equation, y would equal positive 3x plus 8. So now that I have my equation, I can go ahead and make my table x and y. I know first one is 0 and negative 8. Oops, this is going to be a negative 8x. I think I wrote positive accidentally. But again, when we make our table, 0, negative 8 is going to be our first point that we're using. After that, remember what my graph tells me. Whenever I increase 1x, I go up by 3 in my y. So that means my next spot is going to look like 0, negative 8, and 1, negative 5. I can also plug that over here on my graph. 0, negative 8, 1, negative 5, 2, negative 2, 2, negative 2, and let's get one more point in here, 3, positive 1. Again, once I have a couple of points, I can go ahead and draw a straight line as best as I can through my points to create the graph of my equation. Again, secondary option would be instead, once you have this as your equation, using our similar triangles to count 1 over, a couple of places up. Again, not the straightest line, but hopefully this is a good interpretation of what I want us to be able to do by the end of today. So I want you to go ahead, continue on. Remember to fully read your sentences. Again, looking for any key words and features that are going to help you decide if these values are positive or negative. They may be a little bit more hidden, but as always, if you need any help, please let me know. Otherwise, go ahead and continue on to the next few problems.